Good afternoon, and welcome to the Wednesday afternoon conference call with Trusts Unlimited. This is Jim George speaking. I'm the non-attorney spokesman and facilitator for Trusts Unlimited, and I'd like to thank all of you for taking the time to listen to this call, particularly those of you calling in for the first time and those that will be listening to the replay over the next 24 to 48 hours. We like to move rather quickly through these calls. This is going to be a truncated call today. There was scheduled a conference call with the IMF, or having to do with the negotiations between the IMF and the Central Bank of Iraq. That call starts in about 1 minute. Unfortunately, those calls are not recorded, so I'm going to need to get into that call live in order to glean the information I'm going to need. So I'm going to move quickly through the situation that exists in Iraq right now, and I'm going to strongly suggest those of you calling in for the first time will listen to our call of December 2nd. In addition to the information having to do with the reinstitution and revaluation of the dinar, that call will explain to you how you can protect your privacy and your anonymity, how you can protect this newfound wealth from the possibility of confiscation through civil litigation, and how we might, and I say might, actually enjoy tax deferral on the profit from this exchange. So let me get quickly into the situation in Iraq. There still remains a very viable glide path for the reinstitution of the dinar in January of 2021. Iraq's primary concern today as we speak is, of course, the problem that they've had all year, which is the payment of their government salaries, particularly the payment of salaries for the last quarter. In previous weeks, I've explained how the IMF has threatened to deny future loans, but this has been used as leverage to kind of coax Iraq into moving into the direction that they want. The IMF has now come out and said that they are willing, in fact, to make loans to Iraq for the payment of salaries for the last quarter, but that's predicated on Iraq reinstituting their currency at approximately 1-to-1 with the U.S. dollar. Now, the CBI has responded, and I think the basis of the call I'm trying to get in on has to do with the particulars with regard to their response. But the CBI has basically said that they plan in December on initiating the National Education Program, which is the prerequisite for completing the project for the deletion of the zeros. Now, the reason it's a little complicated is because Iraqi nationals need to understand there's a couple of moving parts here. One is the existence of some of the old provisional currency. The Iraqi nationals need to understand that the 3 zeros will essentially not exist if you have the provisional currency, meaning if you have, for example, a $1,000 note, it will actually be worth 1 dinar. A $5,000 note will be worth 5 dinar. A $25,000 note will be worth 25 dinar, and so on. Then there will be the release of the new IQD from the 8 regional banks, which is the currency that will not include the 3 zeros, but will in fact be the new currency. And lastly, the release of not the lower denoms, but the coinage sometime in January. Now, what they're trying to implement, and I think what this call is about that I'm trying to get into, is they want to implement Dr. Shabibi's plan from 2011 and 2012, which means that they first need to reinstitute at approximately a 1-to-1 with the USD in country. Anywhere from 10 to 30 days thereafter, the IMF should then float the dinar at the reinstitution rate of approximately 1-to-1 with the US dollar. At that point, the new IQD will come off the US peg and be linked to the IMF basket of currencies, and it's projected that in anywhere from 10 to 30 days, and I personally believe it's much closer to 10 days, we're looking at a increased value of the dinar to somewhere between $3.50 and $4. Now, in country, the parliamentary actions continue this week and next week. The auctions are going to continue to exist throughout the rest of this year, although they are being closely monitored by the Parliamentary Finance Committee. There is also scheduled meetings for the final resolution of Article 140, which is important for Kurds in Kurdistan. And lastly, the negotiations for the 2020 budget have been postponed, but that's for a good reason, because they want to see the final negotiations between the IMF and the CBI as to the reinstitutional rate, which will exist in Iraq, and which also will be the rate used as the initial float rate on the Forex. So this is all very good news. Once again, January 2021 is still looking very, very good. Again, those of you calling in for the first time, I strongly suggest you listen to our call of December 2nd, because it has all of the information about our program, and there's a rather good Q&A that follows that information as well. I apologize for the truncated call today. I enjoy talking with you in the Q&A, but this call is very important, and it's going to have information, hopefully, that I'm going to be able to share with you next week. So thanks very much for listening. I appreciate your attendance. Have a great week, and I look forward to speaking with you all again next week. Bye-bye, everyone.